you're trying to figure out how to do marketing and there's so many apps out there and you feel overwhelmed at what tools you should be using, what technology you should be relying on, I have some ideas for you. So your technology marketing stack, or your marketing tech stack, however you want to say it, is going to need to be unique to the needs of your business. What I use for my business, what you use for yours, might be totally different, and that's okay because every tool is a little bit different, and oftentimes the tools overlap, so you want to be more efficient depending on the needs of your business. I never would have thought of myself as running a company that was a technology company or an IT company because, let's face it, I get overwhelmed with all this kind of stuff. But when we're talking about marketing, it's really not about the hardware. If you are like a lot of small businesses or most small businesses, you're using the cloud for all of your technology, which means you don't have to worry about cables and networking, which is a good thing for me because then I would never be able to do my job. But with the marketing tech stack, there are a whole other host of considerations that you need to take into account that have nothing to do with this stuff. And we're going to talk about them. Okay, now that you understand what a tech stack is, that it is all of the various components that you use to do your marketing or run your business on, it's important to know like which ones matter or make a difference and which ones really are more about does the tool do what you need it to do. And I'll tell you, most of the things that you can choose from, it's irrelevant to me as an agency or as your marketer what the actual tool is. For example, email marketing. We are huge users and partners of MailChimp, but we also work with clients who come to us and they're using one of the many other options out there for email marketing, and that's totally fine. If it's working for your business, there's not an automatic need for you to change the platform. Same with social media scheduling tools. There are many out there. We've used a number of them over the years. Our agency recently adopted Loomly, for example, but you might come to us and you might be on HubSpot or Sendable or one of dozens other platforms, and we can easily adopt and work within that. Because again, if the tool is the right tool for you and it's working and your team knows how to use it, and the price point is there, there's not an automatic knee-jerk reflection to change your social media scheduling tool. And the list goes on and on. So whether or not you host your website with a particular host, or you've set it up using Squarespace or WordPress or Drupal or other technologies, at the end of the day, isn't going to make or break your marketing. It's how you use these tools in the implementation of your marketing strategy that is more important. Again, your database. Are you on a Salesforce platform if you're a much larger business? Are you using HubSpot, which has great integrated marketing capabilities? Are you using Zoho? Are you using something that I haven't heard of, but it works for your business? Again, those things really don't matter in the sense of which platform you're on, but what matters is how you integrate these things into your marketing program. What we look at when we come in and look at your tech stack is, are your tools and your tech talking to each other? So often your processes in doing your marketing, you've siloed each of these tools. Where there's room for improvement typically is integrating these. So many of your apps can talk to each other, which saves time. It makes your marketing more efficient. If you can make sure that your tools are all coordinating with each other. It could be as simple as, are you capturing email addresses directly into your email marketing program and your database at the same time? That's not hard to set up. But if you're doing this manually, maybe you're also forgetting to do it or not doing it well. So looking at the integration of all your marketing stack, your tech stack, is one of the first things that we can do as an agency to make you more effective and efficient. We also do look for redundancy because sometimes over time you've added different technology or tools and you realize it's like having your Hulu and your HBO and your Netflix and your Amazon Prime. If you're not using all of these tools, you're probably paying for more than you need. We see that come into place sometimes with your design software. If you've adopted Canva, maybe you started off with the free version to check it out when it was new to you, but you're still paying for your full Adobe suite, but really your team never uses that because they've all adopted Canva. Now you're paying for premium or Teams version on Canva. That's an efficiency that we can help identify. Those types of things show up in other places. Oftentimes, like in the marketing world, we pay for a lot of storage. Maybe you're paying for Dropbox. Maybe you're paying backups on your Google or your iPhone, the iCloud storage for photo control. Then maybe you're also keeping some of these things in a more proprietary photography database. So we look at ways to streamline access to all of your marketing assets in a way that works for the technology within your company, which kind of brings me to the problems that we see with choosing tech stack. And it's, again, not so much about the tool, but I think some of the biggest issues and considerations are, one, you haven't integrated your tech stack into your operating processes. So let's say you hire somebody new. Are you tracking what that does to your costs? Are you maybe now pushing yourself out of a tier where it's no longer the best tool for you because it's become too expensive? Maybe you'd be better off going enterprise or going with a tool that offers multiple solution sets for you. When you offboard somebody, does all of your access to that intellectual property go away? Have you built in redundancies? Are you saving access passwords? Do you have one login that your whole team is using, or is it proprietary seats? I think one of the biggest issues we've seen with the marketing tech stack is when people depart, and so does access to files, or worse, when your entire Meta account is tied to an ex-employee and you no longer know even who that was. And this happens with organizations of every size. So again, your tech stack being a series of tools, it's really important you think about it in terms of business operations and continuity planning, because losing access is one of the worst things that you can do. Now, AI. Every tool that we're using these days seems to be integrating with it, playing with it, suggesting that you pay more now because it's using it. And we are huge players in this space, meaning our team's been enjoying seeing how AI is making these marketing tools better and helping us be more efficient. Some of our favorite tools that we're using that lean on AI more than others, one is Grammarly. And again, there's entry-level plans where you can, even for one person, use it for free. As an agency, we pay for a higher level subscription because we're putting out so much content and we're responsible for representing our clients' brands. We want to make sure that we're catching those pesky little grammar errors, and also being able to train how we write and the feedback we get in our writing in terms of tone of voice, which Grammarly does a really nice job of allowing us to set tone and then receive feedback as the writer on how we're doing with the tone. Another one of our favorite tools is Descript. If you are at all producing content in long form, video, podcasts, and you want to create transcripts or blogs or short form pieces from it, this tool will take you from spending hours of staff time, again, using some AI components into it, built into the system, but the incremental cost of paying for a monthly subscription for this versus what you would be losing in staff productivity, it's a no-brainer in terms of how much content you can produce and leverage really well using Descript. Our other one I mentioned earlier is Canva, which, is a great upstart in graphic design land. It's great for marketers who have to wear a lot of hats and produce a lot of content, be it moving graphics or still graphics. You can import your brand guide, you can import your own photos, you can set up the structure in a way and templates so that your team who might not be as design savvy can still make sure they play within brand standards. So those are a few of our favorite marketing tools that we incorporate in our tech stack, and we often bring to clients who are missing these types of capabilities. Because technology is changing so frequently, I think it's a good practice to set some type of recurring review of your technology stack. For us, at least yearly, we have an annual review on the budget side of everything that we're spending. It's to help us make sure we're not duplicating the tools and paying for more seats than we need. But at the same time, we have processes in place that when our subscriptions are renewing, because let's be honest, not everything starts on January 1st. We have a system in place to start doing a review on those, particularly those higher end tools that cost significant investment dollars, to do our annual review, usually 2 to 3 months before renewal, to give our team time to actually assess the market, see what new tools might be out that we want to consider, and make an informed decision well ahead of that renewal clock. You will note that for most tools out there, you will pay less if you buy a year at a time. So it's very tempting to do that, to save. They show you typically on all of these sites, they'll show you the cost savings. I do recommend that folks, if it's a new tool that you've not used, that you pay the monthly rate for a couple of months. Make sure your team is adopting the tool, that it's filling the needs for your marketing, and it's a solution that's right for you, rather than locking yourself in at a year and then realizing that maybe you bought too much or you didn't buy enough of something and you needed a different tool. So because we typically have tested and we adopt tools for a year at a time, doing that annual review and doing some level of market assessment on other tools gives us the peace of mind that we're ready to pay for yet another year. It also gives us, as an agency, time to really do a market check and let you know what's new and different out there, or should we renew with this marketing tech stack. And we did make a significant change, as I mentioned, to Loomly. And that's because we took the time to look around and we discovered, based on the number of accounts and the number of users that we needed, that just was a more cost-effective and tool-effective platform for us to adopt as an agency. My last piece of advice is also to build in time in terms of productivity, training, onboarding of new tools, or offboarding or transition of tools. I think our human nature is that I'm going to switch from A to B and I can just do it on the day that my tool expires. The reality is there's often a hiccup. It often takes just a little bit longer perhaps to export your data, import it, make sure you have it right. You want to make sure that you haven't, if you're switching your social media scheduler, for example, and you've planned out posts into the future, you don't want to cancel and then lose posts that haven't yet gone out. So build in a little time for redundancy training, make sure the team can get comfortable in the new tool, even go so far as to be redundant with posts. So what's in your marketing tech stack and what did I forget? Let us know if there's tools that you have questions about or that you're frustrated with, and let's start dialogue.